Okay, so we have our intervals from pi over 2 to negative pi over 2, and we're going to have the function as sine cube of x, and that's going to be times cosine of x. All right, and that's going to be plus sine of x times cosine of x dx. All right, so whenever we have a sine uh, a cube or anything like that right after uh, sine or cosine, what I like to do is just go ahead and just cross that out, and we're going to rewrite it. And the reason we're going to rewrite it is for purpose of seeing. So we're going to just say sine x and then cube, and then everything else going to remain the same. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pick our u method. And when we're dealing with two trig terms, it's kind of you're trying to figure out which is going to be our u term. And most times you think, okay, well, can I go ahead and just pick sine x or cosine x? Well, if we do that, we're going to have an enormous u term because we're going to have to use the product rule. So we're just going to go ahead and use sine x, and it actually works in, you know, simplifying here. So the derivative of sine x is, of course, cosine x. Now, we notice here that we have cosine x and dx, and we have here cosine x dx. So the the basics of u substitution is to account for everything in the function. So we have a cosine x here, we have a cosine x here, and we have our dx. So if we look, we have our sines and we have our dx and cosine. So everything is accounted for. So, well, before we do that, let's go ahead and just find our new intervals. And we're going to always use our u term. So we're going to say sine of x in place of the x. We're going to put our first term, our upper term, pi over 2, and then negative pi over 2. All right, and so if you remember, uh, if you've taken pre-calculus or wherever they taught you this, you have the unit circle, and at the top we have pi over 2, and at the bottom we have negative pi over 2. And cosine and sine, cosine being the 0 and sine being the 1, on the bottom of the course is negative 1. So we have 1 and negative 1 here. So those are our new terms. And so now we can just, let's go ahead and plug in our u. We have u cube. Got to bring our 3 over here. And let's just go ahead and bring over everything since I've already wrote the integral. So let's go ahead and just write out each term. So that's, of course, cosine x and plus, since we already found sine, let's just go ahead and plug that in. And dx. Okay, so now the next step, the integral is going to go away because we're going to pull our cosine x dx, which matches what we have substituted for, the derivative there. So we're going to call that du and just pull it out. Um, let's see, let's write that a little legible here. All right, so we have our u cube, and we can just go ahead and pull our, well, we did pull our cosine x out, that was du, and so the integrals and dx cancel out. So now we can go ahead and put our new limits into the function here. Uh, our du is going to go away as well. All right, so uh, now we're going to basically use the power rule, and we're going to go ahead and add 1 to what we had before, and then we have to, of course, divide by that same number. So we had u of 3, we added 1, now we have u of 4, and also we have u of 2 over the same number. All right, now one of the things here that I noticed that I did incorrectly, it's not actually that it's not incorrectly. When you try to do, like, say for instance, you pull a term out, like in this case, I would have tried to pull the 1/4 and the 2 1/2 out here, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and substitute the 1 in and the -1, and that way we'll get our answer without having any errors. Excuse me, because like I said, I did it that way before and wasn't good. So what we're going to have here is we're just going to put 1 and -1 in the first term. All right, and we're going to go ahead and change that because we're supposed to be subtracting those two terms. Then we're going to add because, the original equation calls for adding. And then we're going to do the same thing for the second term. We're going to go ahead and put 1 and -1 in. And of course, we're going to go ahead and change that 4 because it's supposed to be a 2. And we're going to go ahead and close everything off here. And as you can see here, we have this set of terms here, 1 of 4, -1 of 4. That's going to equal 0. And the second term, of course, is going to equal 0. And so we have a grand total of 0. And all right, so here we have 0 plus 0 equals 0. So we write do not exist. All right, so that's the final answer. Thank you for watching my videos, and please subscribe and thumbs up.